Hey, welcome to I'm Refocus Radio. Once again, we are here today, and just like any other time, we have our very special guest for today. Today, we have a true honor talking to Jessica Baladad. She is a 5-year breast cancer survivor. She has a powerhouse story. I can't wait to dive in. She's going to share with us not just about her life, personal story, but her also being an advocate for something that you really will appreciate. So, first and foremost, Jessica, I know your time is busy. So first, I want to say thank you for taking time off your calendar to talk to us on Refocus Radio. How you doing today?
I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate your time. I know you have a very inspirational story. You have some technology that has to do with AI. And I can't wait to talk about that too. And that's a little teaser. But before we get into that, kind of share with the audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I found a lump in my breast when I was 33 years old while performing a self-exam in the shower. Now, this is a habit that I actually developed at 18 when I accidentally found a lump. It was benign, had to have it removed. That put me in the habit of performing self-exams. So fast forward 15 years later, I'm in the shower, I'm doing a routine exam, and I find something, and it led to a stage 2B breast cancer diagnosis. So a self-exam saved my life, and I've become a passionate advocate for telling women how to take care of their bodies and speak up for themselves.
I can't imagine how one would feel when they are in the midst of that situation when that happens to you. So, for the audience, what are some of the things that you took action on? Because I can't imagine what's going through your mind, but obviously you have a amazing story to tell. But what was going through your mind that moment, and how were you trying to prep yourself as far as what your next move was going to be?
Transparently, I was terrified. I thought, oh my God, am I too young for breast cancer? I mean, I'm only 33 years old. I was in the best shape of my life. I lift weights, I've run marathons, I take care of my body. And I thought, breast cancer only runs on my dad's side of the family, even though we don't have a known gene mutation. 14 women have been affected on my dad's side. But I thought, well, my mom's side doesn't have breast cancer. And I thought, okay, I'm 33, good shape, no breast cancer on my mom's side. Surely I'm fine. And then I remembered I had just gone to the doctor 2 days prior. The nurse practitioner did a clinical exam of my breast. She felt them and she said nothing to me about finding a lump. So I thought, okay, I got to be all right. As it turned out, she thought I was too young for breast cancer. She did find the lump and didn't tell me about it. So thankfully, a self-exam is what ultimately saved my life.
When you look at the family history, uh, kind of tell us a little bit about how that, knowing the facts of that, kind of help you to understand, okay, this is what it might look like in the future, knowing this kind of information.
So it took me 4 months to get a proper diagnosis. And when I found the lump in my breast, I thought, well, the doctor didn't tell me about this. She wasn't concerned about it. But the one thing that I kept thinking about is how much does that family history play a role, even though it's just my dad's side? I mean, I am 33 years old at the time. I thought I still had my whole life in front of me. I felt entitled to the rest of my life. And it was just looming. I'm like, okay, I at the time had an aunt who had stage 4 breast cancer and was actually actively passing away. I actually had to miss her funeral to start my cancer treatment. And so I just remembered, okay, I've got to do something about this. I remembered my family. I had met a woman younger than, or I'm sorry, just a year older than me who had just been diagnosed. And I thought, I've got to get myself back to the doctor. So even though I was kind of in denial about it, just knowing the family history, it just really echoed in the back of my mind to say, okay, you've got to do something about this. You have to go back to the doctor. You have to fight for yourself.
When you look back at your treatment journey for the audience, what was your experience like, and what were some of the things that you learned about yourself, not just being strong, but just understanding that going through the process. You just gotta you just gotta go for it. You can't control what life happens to you, but you can control how you look at life.
The moment that the radiologist in the ultrasound room looked at me and said, "I'm pretty sure this is cancer," I was stunned and I was shocked. But I knew in that moment that cancer ran in my family until it ran into me, and I was going to do everything that I could to do something about it. So I saw the oncologist who treated one of my aunts, my grandmother, and now me. And I said, "Look, take everything, scrape it all out of me. You say jump, I say how high. I am going right after whatever you say to do." So I did the 16 rounds of chemotherapy. I had a double mastectomy. I had 24 rounds, about 5 weeks straight of radiation. I had a preventative hysterectomy, and I did flap reconstruction where they took fat tissue and blood vessels from my stomach and placed them in my chest to recreate my body. And I thought, I'm going to do everything that I can for myself. I've seen what cancer has done in my family. I see what the recommendations are. I see what my chances are for a reoccurrence. I'm going to do absolutely everything that I can. And I knew that I was fighting for the people who had come before me, and I was going to finish it and win.
We know about I kind of teased in the opening of the show about technology and AI and what you're doing. It's very exciting. We'll get into that in a second. But when you came up with Feel for Your Life app, at what point was the birth of that? Was it something you were thinking about during treatment journey, or was it something shortly after that you said, you know what, I want to do something more about this?
The name Feel for Your Life came to me while I was in the shower going through chemotherapy. The shower is always where I did my self exams. And at the time, I was losing my hair because of the chemo treatment. So there I was, literally watching my life go down the drain and feel the shower, feel for your life. It just serendipitously came to me. And I thought, this is it. This is a name. Now, I have a background in marketing and journalism and PR. And so when I got out of the shower, I ran to my computer and saved the URL, saved all the social handles. They were all available. Feel for Your Life. No extra spaces, no dots, no underscores. Feel for Your Life. It was all available. And I thought, this is it. This is the name. Feel for Your Life started as a social media project. And then it became an app during the pandemic whenever I saw that women were missing their screenings and getting diagnosed at later stages. So I wanted to do something that took it a step further than social media. I wanted women to be in control of their health in a time that we didn't know what was going on. And I wanted them to feel confident about taking action. So I thought, we're all glued to our phones right now. I'm going to make Feel for Your Life in action. Because if you think about the name, the first word is a verb, feel. So you're doing something. And I just kept that in mind as I was creating the app.
Listening to I'm Focus Radio, talking to our guest today, Jessica Baladad, and go to her app's website, feelforyourlife.com, and you can go read more about her and her project, her bio, and more information and resources that she has. You being an advocate, I mean, you or someone is a perfect pair connection to be a part of this movement because not only have you been through this, but you have been able to use your story as a blanket of hope for women out there. So when you look at the journey you had to go through, when you look at the success of your platform and the tools you're giving to women in regards to health, I mean, how do you feel being able to have this powerful resource that is definitely going to enhance people's lives?
Well, I never said when I grow up, I'm going to get breast cancer and create this app that's going to save thousands of lives all over the world. I realized that I was entrusted with this whether you say it's from God or the universe or whatever it is that you believe in. I'm a person of faith, so I feel like God put me on this journey for a reason. It didn't happen to me, it happened for me so that I could serve other people. And cancer had to happen so that Feel for Your Life could happen. And I'm just grateful for all of it that has transpired. Now, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. And yes, it sucked. And yes, I'm on the other side of it where I'm more optimistic about, outcomes and whatnot and how I'm doing in my life. But at the same time, I knew I was chosen for this, and I'm grateful for where it's brought me now.
Let's think about for a second the health care that you receive when it comes to the visits, when it comes to talking to doctors. What's some of the things that you be able to learn now that you can advocate for this particular issue? Because now that you have the experience of dealing with the medical industry and dealing with treatment and doctors, what's some things that you learned that you can probably shed light to how patients can also advocate for their own care?
One thing that I tell patients that I work with now is that when you're looking for a medical provider, a primary care physician, find someone who aligns with your goals and the outcomes that you want to achieve for your health. Find someone that you can relate to, that you're going to trust. And this probably sounds a little morbid, but I know that previously, when I was going through my cancer diagnosis, my husband, who's a few years older than me, he had not gone to the doctor in years. He's just like, oh, I never get sick. And here we are in our 30s thinking we're invincible and we don't have to think about it. But when I was helping him choose a primary care physician, I thought, okay, in the event that you may receive bad news, who can you see yourself getting that news from? When you're reading the bios and you're reading the reviews and you're looking at their credentials and um, you're looking at the things that interest you about them, who can you say, this person might be delivering me bad news? This is the person I want me to keep accountable to the goals that I have. And one thing I've learned is that doctors are also overwhelmed and they're not perfect and they're human. You have to have some sort of an understanding of the test that you're receiving. Know the basics about what the blood work is that's being looked at. Know the basics of the type of scan, why it's being offered, why you're undergoing this test, and what it tells you and what it won't tell you. So if you're getting a test, for example, for diabetes and you have just a complete blood count, a complete blood count with just your glucose, maybe you need to ask about, hey, how do I get my A1C tested? Or how do I get my vitamin D tested? And what is included in this test? What is not included in this test? And just having just a basic understanding of what you need to know for yourself so you can have those mindful conversations with your medical provider.
Let's get back to the Feel for Your Life, the app, and let us know what was the hardest part of this project, and now that it's available for women to appreciate and explore, also add some of the resources that it provides.
There were two things that were particularly hard about creating the Feel for Your Life app. One is my mindset thinking, could I really do this? And right now, I mean, COVID had just happened, and I thought, what is going to happen in the world? Either everything's going to come to an end or I'm going to be mildly successful with this. And by mildly successful, I thought my friends and family would golf clap for me and say, oh, that's so cute, Jessica. Good job. Look at what you did. Congratulations. You made this little app. Hee hee. So it was a mindset of getting over the hump of, can I do this? Can I not do this? That was one thing. Number two, I had to start all over. So I started working on the Feel for Your Life app in December of 2020. And February 2021, I had my reconstruction surgery. It was allowed at that time. And while I was recovering in the ICU for that standard procedure, I get an email that the place where I was keeping all my files, the server, all the information, their building caught fire and I had to start all over again. So
Wow.
everything I had taught myself to get to that point, I had to start all over again. And I haven't told a lot of people that. So you're one of the only people I've told. And everyone who's going to be listening to this is going to know now. But that was really difficult because I almost gave up at that point because I thought this isn't in the cards. This isn't meant for me. But I just remembered, wait, there are other women, there are other people who are relying on this, who have told me they've been inspired by my story and my bravery for going through cancer. I said, I'm meant to do something with this. So after I recovered from surgery, I just picked everything back up and just kept moving forward. I got the tools, resources, and the people around me who have mentored me and encouraged me and have shown me the things that I need to relearn so that I could get it out to the public.
Man, I had to pump the brakes because when you said the building caught on fire, that's enough for some of us to say, you know what? Well, can't say I tried. I might have to hang up my hat on this project. I mean, wow, that I had to give you my golf clap right here because that's inspiring because you had every reason to say, you know what, maybe it was meant to do this ad. Maybe I'm just supposed to go golfing, but for you to press forward, I mean, I know there have been moments where you weren't smiling, you probably frustrated. So kind of share about that and how did you kind of get over that emotion to continue to press forward with this project?
One, I was in the worst, most excruciating pain of my life recovering from that surgery. So you take that on top of the emotional toll of finding out that my app had basically been destroyed. I was not in a good place. Generally, if I'm in physical pain, when I was going through my cancer treatment, I could get over it through my mindset and my focus and where I wanted to be. But I was destroyed in that moment. And what sucked is that because I had a scar across my hip from hip to hip, it hurt to cry and have my feelings. So it was just like
Oh,
literally a gut punch at that time. But I thought, this isn't in my control, but there are things that I do have control over. There are things that I can still do for myself. I didn't cause that fire. This was not a competency issue on my end. So, what do I have in front of me, and what direction do I need to go in from here? And I thought this is only temporary, just like cancer, just like losing my hair. I remember looking at my bald self and thinking I look like the love child of Britney Spears and Uncle Fester, but this is temporary. This is not forever. I am going to get my hair back. And I thought, if I could get my hair back, if I could get my body back, if I could get anything back that cancer tried to take from me, I'm going to move forward with this app and make sure that it does release and it does save lives.
wow. That's
Mhm.
all I gotta say. I got chills thinking about that. Wow. Once again, listening to Focus Radio, talking to our guest today. Go to Jessica's website, feelforyourlife.com. And I'm telling you, I have it up right now. She has tons and tons of information and resources. You've been getting a lot of attention. How have you been able to manage the weight of success of getting all the attention now with your story?
I take it in stride and I'm grateful for every opportunity. Just like I was on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. I've done Good Morning America. I've been featured in Pop Sugar. I'm just grateful for it. And I don't take it for granted when women come to me and say, thanks to you, I'm getting screened. Thanks to you, I know my breast density. Thanks to you, I'm doing my self exams. There are even some women who have told me, hey, I found a lump. I got it checked out. It wasn't cancer, but now I'm having these conversations with my doctor. So I'm grateful for every opportunity that comes my way. And I just know that the opportunities that are presented to me are meant for me. And I'm never going to be denied anything that is truly meant for me. So whenever it is there, I'm just full of gratitude and appreciation for it.
Let's talk about your family, how this has impacted your family. How did they respond to you just being resilient and motivated to be just determined to make this project come to life? But also, what was it like for your family seeing you go through what you had to go through when you were getting those treatments?
It was very difficult to have to share the news with my husband and my dad and my sister and the people that I was closest to because I was still trying to process it. But at the time, I remember my dad was one of the first people that I called because he was getting ready to go to his sister's funeral. And I'm going to try not to get emotional through this as I like mentally go back there, but I did not want to deliver news to him that now his daughter had breast cancer because he was getting ready to bury his sister. So I felt horrible and guilty. And I just remember being in the ultrasound room with the radiation or the radiology tech. And I was by myself and she gave me the phone and I called my dad and I said, Dad, I need you to stop what you're doing right now. And I need you right now. I have some news to tell you. And I couldn't say it. I passed the phone to the radiation or the radiology tech, and she had to finish it for me. I don't remember exactly what she said, but she handed the phone back to me. And my dad said, I'm going to send Tina, my stepmom, to come get you because I had kept this to myself for so long, knowing that I had an aunt that was dying, and I was in denial that anything was wrong with me. And in that moment, I had to accept it. I had to accept everything. And then there was my husband. He had just started a new job at the time, and I had to call him at work, and I couldn't say it over the phone. I said, I need you to leave work and meet me at my dad's house. Just go right now. And he was kind of confused too. He knew I was going to the doctor to get a lump checked out, but he just thought it was just like a girl's thing. And I was just a routine appointment. And I actually hid the seriousness of everything from them. So for the longest time, I hid the seriousness of this lump in my breast because I had a sister getting married, family members who were not doing great and getting ready to pass, husband starting a new job. I carried the weight of this lump in my breast for so long. And when I found out the news, it was actually a huge relief to know that, okay, I can put a name on it. Now that we have a name on it, now I can treat it. Now I can go after it. Now that we can come up with a plan. So it was scary and intimidating, but I just remember I got to stay strong for everyone else around me. They were getting visibly upset seeing me go through everything. So I took on their feelings, being a little bit of a people pleaser. I took on their feelings and I just thought, I've got to do this for my former family members who have passed, and I got to do it for my family who is here now. And so I showed them that, yes, this sucks, but I'm going to get through it and I will come out on the other side of it better and stronger.
You've been listening to Refocus Radio talking to our guest today, and I'm telling you, Jessica, your story is wow, awesome. That's crazy what you had to go through and endure, but you're making it look easy with this app and your position to advocate for women's health. Uh, Man, speechless. To be honest, man, it's amazing to hear that. Um, because not everybody goes through pain and take it as a mission. And it sounds like you're taking it as a mission when you could have just gotten better and said, you know what, I'm gonna sit underneath the palm trees and sip on some Kool-Aid or something and just chill. Instead, you doubled down even after the fire, even after that mishap with the app, you still doubled down. And that's not just commendable, but that's a testimony to your persistence and pushing yourself when sometimes I could imagine that you probably felt like you might have been pushing yourself by yourself at times. So, with that said, I'm gonna take the last 3 minutes for you. Kind of, what's your message to women out there who hear your story and maybe they might be going through what you've been through? What would you say as someone who experienced this firsthand?
Number one, don't make it personal. There is nothing that you did to bring cancer or any bad situation upon yourself necessarily. Sure, you play a role in it and have to take responsibility for your part and what you can do for yourself, but don't make the situation personal. Number two, don't make it pervasive. Don't let it spread into other parts of your life. I remember going through cancer, wondering at first, is my family going to abandon me? Are my friends going to not want anything to do with me? Is my husband going to divorce me? And I remember trying to push my husband away and told him even that he could cheat on me because he didn't sign up for this so soon in our marriage. And he just kind of he looks at the medication that I'm taking and he's like, "What are you on? Like you're crazy. I'm not going to do that." And so don't make it pervasive. Whatever bad situation you're going through, whether it's cancer, a job loss, a career transition, something going on, don't let that badness per be pervasive in other parts of your life. And number three, don't let it get permanent. Where you are right now does not define you. It's going to build you to something better. Don't let it keep you stuck. Don't wallow in it. Where you are right now doesn't have to be where you leave things off. So don't let it become this permanent fixture in your mind. And you can move forward, go through it, honor your feelings where you are, let them be tools to how you're feeling, what signals they're sending you to make and take the action where you need to go in the future.
You were a basketball coach and a guy was 4 foot, he'd be dunking the ball, that's for sure. He'd find a way to dunk the ball. So, first and foremost, I've been talking to our guest today, Jessica Baladad. Go to her website, feelforyourlife.com. If someone wants to learn about more resources that you provide on your website or possibly some maybe help sections or videos, how to use the app was the best way they can find out more about that stuff.
Sure. Well, the Feel for Your Life app is available in the App Store and the Google Play Store, and everything you need is right there at feelforyourlife.com.
Like I always want to say to you, Jessica, thank you for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.